So he was doing law papers. Yeah.
What's up? So just a quick intro, family. Obviously we were going to release this podcast on the Spotify and Apple Podcasts or iTunes Podcasts, whatever you want to call it. However, obviously because the quality came out crap, I have to get some new content, new gear for my podcast. That's where the issue was. We had a bit of static in the background when we were recording, and as much as I tried to do noise reduction on it, the static sound wasn't coming out, and so that's where we're at right now. So what I've done is I've recorded at least, I think it's about 53 minutes of the actual podcast, and I'm going to post it up onto our Instagram, Facebook page, and also onto our YouTube channel, so check it out, stay tuned. Anyway, it's about to follow straight after this. Let's go.
They mad at the confidence. We say young Polynesians, is that what the problem is? And we about to conquer it.
Whether or not I'm actually out of, I think I'm good.
I think that's the same thing for me. I think you've got to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I have belts of it.
Yeah.
Like it comes in waves, but I think now I can learn to acknowledge it and do my best to try and either keep busy or address it.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm out of the woods. Being honest about it.
Yeah. And there's no there should be no shame attached to that, not being out of the woods, bro. Like, it's everybody wants to bask in the sunlight, but nobody wants to go through the dark to get it,
And I think it's through those trials that we get that it teaches us about who we are.
Yeah, right.
And how strong we can be.
Yeah.
But we just need to make sure we've got the right support system. Or just, like I was talking to someone that we both know. I was talking about it earlier this morning. He's going through something very something very similar to what we're going through, but he's medicated right now, and he just reached out to me, and I said, yeah, but I'll be there. We'll come through and we'll do some training together.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, he was just like, he talked to me during the training before we started and during the training about it, and I was like, yeah, I just listened, helped him, done the training, but I didn't give him any advice or anything about my own experience. I just said, yeah, I love you, bro, that's it. And then he messaged me and he goes, a lot of people I talk to, even my whānau, and they just say, you'll be alright. But he said, I don't need advice from anyone, I just need someone to listen to me. I was like, fuck, true. And I think a lot of times, especially as Polynesian men, I feel that sometimes we don't have the opportunity to share that space with someone. Yeah. You go and speak to someone that you feel like you can open up to, and then they might yawn, or they might their eyes might twitch, or they get tired, and it's nothing wrong with that, but that okay, they're not able to share that space with me, and then you go back to being closed up again, and then you go back through that whole cycle again, and I'm just like, how do we as those that are meant to be the support system for our whānau and our friends, how do you think we could be a bit more open to listening to our brothers and our sisters that are going through stuff? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think that's a good challenge to throw to those people who are listening to this podcast right now, bro. Is what have we done today to help those around us? Are we actively engaging in our communities to provide a better tomorrow for this collective that we're a part of? Or are we still living in little pockets and little silos?
I find that we are silos, little cliques, little groups.
Bro, and it's bad. Maori are the worst, bro. I'll be the first to put my hand up and say Maori are the worst for living in little silos, bro.
What is up with that? Even in, you see that in Kapas,
bro, hard.
And I'm just
you got the girls in the corner, you got the bros out the back.
And I'm like, bro, I thought we were meant to be whānau. What's up with the whakapapa thing? Where is it?
Is it contrived? Is that whakapapa contrived? Like, is it fake?
Is it? I think it is. And I'm just like, come on, whānau. We're singing about this. We're talking about this. It's in our pūrākau, our whakatauaki. Like,
so we need to take a hard look at ourselves, bro, as Maori here in 2020. Are we perpetuating whakawhanaungatanga? And essentially, ultimately, what it comes down to, are we perpetuating whakapapa?
Damn.
Because without these relationships, without these, you know, and yes, we can have arguments and this and that, we can have disagreements,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, we have to sit down and talk about it to get through to the other side, to get back into the light. So, and if we're not doing that, then that's when the whakapapa stops. That's when you become distant from me, I become distant from you. We're not talking to one another. My kids aren't talking to your kids. Our grandchildren aren't talking to our grandchildren.
And that's where the divide happens.
And that's where the divide happens.
You see that in whānau. It's been going on for generations. Like in my whānau, I know a lot of my friends, a lot of my other whanaunga, they're going through, oh, you know, my great-grandfather was offended by your great-grandfather. And I was like, oh, why? You know, what's it got to do with us? And I had a similar experience actually talking about that. Oh gosh, my whānau going to hear this, but hey, this is what the podcast is all about, whānau. Anyway, so yeah, there was a bit of a disagreement in my whānau with my dad's whānau. Oof. Yeah, this whānau, they're a bit tūturu down at Aotearoa. Anyway, it is what it is. And yeah, aunties and uncles, you know, they were all offended for something that happened in the past. The younger ones didn't agree with the older ones. I come from a big whānau, my dad's whānau. I think he comes from 13, 14 brothers and sisters, wow. I think. So we've got there's a lot of grandkids and a lot of great grandkids. And this was at I think it was at my nan's funeral. So it was nan's buried, just in the ground. And then, you know, you've got your last night there, there's a whānau, everyone's having a feed, and then kicks up one of the aunties goes off, boom. And then another auntie kicks in and supports her, and then the older siblings are like, what the hell's happening, you know? And then the blame game starts happening. And then all of a sudden, I see a lot of my younger cousins who are, I understand, you know, they're supporting and they love and they're hurt for their mum or their dad. But they go in defensive of their parent. And I'm like, and me being one of the older ones, I see my cousins and then I step into my cousins and I'm like, you know, oi, this has got nothing to do with us, don't get involved in it. All you're going to be doing is carrying that same toxic rhetoric that they've got. Let them deal with it. It's got nothing to do with us. And then the oldest sibling out of all these girls, she stopped and she goes, sorry, cuz. And then she grabbed her sisters and got them outside. And then one of the other aunties looks at me and goes, looks at me. I didn't say anything to her. She goes, F. And I was like, I looked at her and the old me was very, I guess like, bro. Yeah, I looked at her and I was like, that's alright, auntie. And I was biting my tongue, and then my brothers came up to me and they're like, bro, you alright? Like, yeah, I'm all good. But really inside I was burning. But it's exactly what you're talking about. It's trying to stop those bad feelings, because it can end whakapapa there. And ever since then, there's been a quiet divide between the whānau, and I'm like, shit, all you fellas have to do is learn to be a bit more understanding.
Ego, bro.
It's ego, it's fucking ego.
We're proud. This is the double-edged sword that is pride, bro.
It is.
You know, there's a good pride, and there's the pride that is sharpened by the blade that is ego.
Talk to me about that, especially with as Polynesian brothers as well. How we're not able to, you know, when you talk about pride, when we grew up, we were not able to kind of congratulate each other. We were taught to kind of just be humble dogs.
Bro,
you know, don't worry.
This would have been about August, October last year. Get this, bro, and this is a true story, no word of a lie. One of my best friends, bro, he was one of those 9 actually that went to King's College.
True.
Bro, so we've been boys for like 16 years this year.
Yeah.
I was cleaning out all my Instagram followers, bro, like just like unfollow, go down the list, bro. The bro must have got caught on the crossfire, obviously. So I unfollowed the bro, and then
oh no.
And then would have been about 3 weeks later, one of our mates was like, what the hell's going on? And I was like, well, what do you mean? It is like, oh, da-da-da reckons that you've been talking about this and now you've unfollowed him on Facebook, on Instagram, and what's going on? And, you know, it's getting up to Christmas and, you know, we've got to sort this sort of stuff out. And I'm like, oh. Bro, I didn't talk to the bro. And this was on me too. Like, I won't be too proud enough to say that it was on me, because I made the first thing. I don't think we talked to one another, like, on good terms. Up until about 3 weeks ago, bro.
Are you serious?
Straight up, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. Like we're both busy people, and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we don't really talk. Well, we talk every now and again. Yeah, bro. But like where it wasn't awkward, bro.
Yeah.
And what that taught me was like, okay, so my ego, I've still got a massive ego.
Yeah.
The bro's got a massive ego, but what can I do to alleviate the pressure that my ego puts on other people? Like it really highlighted for me the place that my ego and the impact that my ego and my importance of self had on someone else. You know?
I think that's it. A lot of times it's that importance of self.
Yeah, yeah.
So how are you going to deal with it? How
Oh,
are you dealing with it now?
we're all good. Like we're all good. Like like we were talking last night. I was like, oh, bro, come to my birthday dinner last night.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no, sorry, brother, I'm in Wellington for work and this and that. But it was like, so we're all
You still
good.
put it out there.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And he would have appreciated that. But I was just thinking like, okay. Because like all the other boys were getting involved, like, what's going on?
No.
What, are you actually beefing? What did he do? Like, and I was like, oh, bro, honestly, I accidentally unfollowed him on Instagram, bro. And they're like, nah, bullshit, bro, because he's saying that you're saying this about him, and then now he's unfollowed you. And I was like, I went and had a look. Sure enough,
I think like in that situation, that's a huge misunderstanding.
yeah, bro. It's and it is, but it's perpetuated by an importance of self and ego, bro. Yeah, and I had to really look at myself and take a really hard look at myself and go, okay, yeah, it's easy to throw it back at the bro and say that it's him, but
What
actually,
am I doing?
yeah, what can I get out of this if I just for a minute flip the script and go, actually, what part did I have to play in this?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did I do? How did I make him feel? You know, this is one of my bros. Like, this is my godfather. This is my daughter's godfather, bro. You know, so I love this fella, bro. So there's no, there's no thing that we're not gonna be bros.
Yeah.
But it just really pushed me into a space where I had to look at my own ego and reevaluate where I saw myself in the wider picture.
It's hard to kind of to evaluate yourself.
It is,
you know,
bro.
and
Because it's ugly. That's why.
it's ugly. You don't want to actually truly look in the mirror and be like, fuck.
Notice like when you record yourself singing, bro, and you hate hearing.
You hate hearing that.
Hearing
yeah,
your
someone
voice.
else will hear you and be like, oh, bro, that's
Yeah.
on. You're on, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. And I guess it comes back to that thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to cheat yourself, and be honest with yourself and say, actually, I could do more, or I could do better.
Yeah.
Maybe not more, just I could do better. What am I not doing? Whether it's through actions or inactions. From it sounds like there was actually just inaction going on. No one done anything. It was just inactivity. He didn't reach out.
Yeah.
Either of you.
Well, that, and essentially, bro, how they say that silence sometimes says the most.
Yeah.
You know, that's the much the same as an action, bro. An action is also a response, bro. An action is actually doing something.
How do we? What do you think we can do to change it, especially like
Act with love, bro.
It's
acting with love, bro. And I had to, because I love the bro. Like,
yeah.
we've been boys for 16 years now. I love him, bro. You know, and I had to, because I love the bro so much, I had to go, fuck, maybe it is me.
Yeah.
Maybe it is me. I don't like saying it's me because I have an ego about as big as the slab.
It's testing that.
It is, bro.
Why you?
It
It's
is,
tasting it, and you're like, damn, okay, my bro.
Yeah.
My bad. And I had, man, just last year actually, I had a run-in with my one of my good boys that I'd grown up with. Similar thing. Been together since high school, and a lot of it came down to egos. If I'm going to be honest about it, eventually we both apologized to each other. You know, we had a huge blowout. And I got to the point where I was like, bro, do you want to go? Like, and I was like, after that conversation, I laughed at myself. I was like, why am I being stupid? Because I didn't want to hurt him. I was just so angry. But I was angry because it was my own ego.
Were you angry at him, yourself, or the situation?
I think I was angry at all three, like
Yeah.
myself, because I was being stupid. I was playing into the situation.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
You know, and I was angry at him because I was like, how do you not know me?
Yeah.
You know, I expect you. Damn, I think that's what it is.
That's part
It's
of
the
it, bro.
expectation.
Yeah.
We set up such high expectations for other people. We expect them. We expect more from them, especially because I guess they're meant to know who we are. when a lot of times it's actually it's us, and fuck, that was hard to admit. That was really hard to admit actually.
It was that, yeah.
Oh,
But you get so much out of it, bro. I think like, and what have you lost, bro? We haven't lost anything when we enter spaces which allow self-development to grow,
exactly.
to blossom, bro. We haven't lost anything at all because you know the most prideful man is nothing but fake pride.
That's true. Eh?
That's his pride alone. That's the pride that he wears on his shoulders is the pride that he has put there himself. But when you can look at someone who's in a confrontation with you and you can say, oh, sorry, bro, that's my bad. Like, and they recognize
their own.
they recognize the mana on you.
Damn, it's hard because we're proud people.
Yeah, very hard.
Like, it's intrinsically, like, it's in our genetics.
Yeah.
We're a proud people. I see that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
You know, at our kids' kura, I see the pride, and it's awesome to see them. They have an absolute knowing of who they are. But it can, like you said, it can be a double-edged sword. How do we kind of teach our children, being fathers, to kind of, I guess, acknowledge it and be like, hey, you're going too far on the, I guess not so good pride side, but how do we get them to just kind of keep themselves in check, and then, you know, if they start seeing those flags, yeah, how do we tell them, hey, don't be too high about yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you suggest? What do you think?
One thing, just off the top of my head, bro, the first thing that comes to mind is I was, bro, up north we kind of have this, it's kind of a figure of, it's not really a figure of speech, but how you address another male. So like,
Sure, yeah.
so like, regardless of whakapapa, bro, regardless, any other male you meet, is always, unless they're of a higher generation, like so they're, that's referred to as kapa, so it's like sir.
True.
Yeah. And then any other male on your generation, bro, is always tuakana.
True.
Always. Regardless if they, if that's the rubbish man, that's your tuakana.
Wow.
Or regardless of if they're serving in jail for 20 years or whatever, that's your tuakana.
Wow.
And when I learned that, bro, I was thinking, why do we always put tuakana on someone else?
That's
as
awesome,
a team?
actually. That's especially at being a Aupouri kawa, because I've never seen that before. I mean, when I was looking at Tapunei Waipukoro and I saw your text, it's like tuakana.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is that? And now I get it.
Yeah.
How do you?
And essentially, what that's doing, bro, is that that's honoring you.
Exactly.
And what that does is it's taking the ego off me, and it's saying I'm in a space of humility to be able to allow myself to be under you, below you.
Te āhua maari ene.
Koe tērā, bro. In one word, bro. And that's not only honoring and celebrating you as an individual, but it's celebrating your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, all of those who have gone before you.
Anei te kōrero te raukura ne, you know, there's everything that comes with you, your whakapapa.
Yeah, bro.
Wow, I never looked at it that way. See, for me, whenever I talk to someone, I guess it's a Maori fighter, you know, brother. You know, and I talk to them as, you know, he brother.
Yeah.
Okay. And but I like that. I prefer the tuakana, how you're saying that, and especially the kōrero behind it. Like I try and relate to someone as being, you know, we are the same.
Yeah.
But when you put into that perspective as tuakana, you know, man, that's such an awesome kōrero.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And likewise, that you are always someone else's tuakana too. So that is interdependency, that promotes the interdependency between one another and the relationship that comes with that interdependency. That whenever I need you to be a tuakana for me, I, much the same as you're being a tuakana for me, will be a tuakana for someone else. So we're all working together.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
What? That's a deep space we just went there.
Yeah, bro. All in one word, bro. And we can go there too, bro. But I'm guessing, especially with some of our tuakana at Wani Wati Marae, you'll have a lot more others who can speak on the space, on this te reo Māori space. but bro, Te Reo Māori holds so many keys to the Māori thought pattern.
Because it's even
Major keys.
That's exactly it. Because when I'm thinking about it, a lot of our kōrero, especially the old reo, there's a lot of deep meaning. It's not just the surface stuff. You're talking about everything is, I guess, the kōrero of the upper jaw and the lower jaw, And so, man, just that one word.
Yeah.
How do we? I guess I wanna bring it back to with the mahi that you're going into now. So talk to us a little bit about more of your mahi now and the space that you're in with mahi, and have you had any trials during the time?
Yeah, so I've just finished 6 years in the Māori media space. So I was working at 2013. I left graduated university, and I went straight into a reporter's position at Māori television.
Yeah.
I'm working on it was still Te Kaya then.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing you on there as well.
Yeah. Shocking haircut even back then. Nonetheless, shocking.
It is what it is.
Shocking real. So yeah, brother. So that was 2030. Well, I'd been 22 then.
True.
Yeah,
22.
Yeah.
See, that's different. See, because when you're at such a young age and you're thrust into that space, especially being on Te Kaya, because at the end of the day, that's the Māori equivalent to one news. How did it was on mainstream TV as well.
Yeah, so Te Karere is on TVNZ.
Yeah.
So I worked.
Did you work both?
Yeah, I worked at both, bro. But I have to commend my tuakana Julian Wilcox, who was the former boss at Māori Television. He took a gamble, bro. He rolled the dice on someone like me. Like I was, bro. He reckons, bro, you were the most underqualified, overconfident person I have ever met.
But that comes down to it, that gets you in those doors.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And he took a gamble on me, bro. And so I'm forever grateful to someone like that who can say for the opportunity. And that's much the same. We were talking about opportunities arising before, bro, earlier on the podcast. And there was just another one where the door popped up, and I thought, shit, I have to make a run of this. I have to, chip and chase and go for it.
Yeah.
Step the full back. Yeah.
How did but it's at such a young age, how did you deal with it? Because I mean, that's a lot to process. You're on TV. You're 22 years old. I remember what I was doing when I was 22 years old. I was playing up, and but there's a lot of fame that comes with it. Putea as well.
Yeah.
And at a young age, how did you process it?
I didn't realize it, bro. And no one told me. There was no instruction manual, bro. And
You just expected it.
Yeah, I learned the hard way, bro, and I can look at it retrospectively now and say that I learned the hard way. The Māori media space is not one that's conducive for bringing up kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then that would lead back to that, because you worked so much.
Yeah.
That would have been a big key.
All around the country. I could have been up north one day, up the east coast. I was across Christchurch, yeah, bro. It was full on. But I mean, that's what that's the sacrifice that you give to the job, to allow yourself to be seen, to be heard.
Yeah.
But bro, there came a time like year 3, year 4 maybe, where I started to kind of grow, not unhappy, but just like discontent with where I was.
There wasn't any more growth in the
business. Yeah, any more growth, and I'd kind of not seen it all or done it all.
Got bored.
Yep, very bored. And I kind of started to have this small voice inside my puku telling me that this isn't your calling.
Wow.
Yeah, that this isn't you.
Was this before, during, or after your father's the break?
This was just before.
True.
Yeah. So around that time, bro, things kind of started to fall right apart, like yeah. So I started, and I was really hurt then, bro. And that I won't get into it, but that was part of the reason for our relationships, separation and that.
Too much mahi, not enough whānau time.
Oh. No, I think it was, from my perspective, bro, it was just not being seen in my own home, but not being heard.
Oh wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But man, because I'm only going to assume on the other person's part, but you felt like you weren't being heard when you listened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Go there if you want.
Yeah. So it was an interesting time, bro. But that's when so this would have been about 2016, 17, where I really started to pull things back and look at, okay, where do I want to be? And I started making 5-year plans, 10-year plans, and started to say, okay, shit, okay, how are you going to angle yourself to get out of this media space that you've slaved for how long for to get into?
Straight out of Kura.
You got there. Oh, hello, you don't like it.
But it's kind of a crazy realization.
It is, and it's one, and it's getting away from the ego too, bro. Because you can see, like 23, bro, you're on 70k, 75k.
That's a hell of a lot of money for a 23-year-old.
Yeah, bro, and you're on TV every night, like albeit for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But
you're still there. Everyone's like, oh, you're on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Bro, I remember once I was like, this was before our boy was born, so it was more than 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We were walking in the Kmart, bro, in St. Luke's. We were walking down the aisle, my ex-partner and I, and someone yelled out from behind us, Raniera Harrison, te kaya. And I was like,
no, you didn't.
what? I couldn't believe it, bro. And I was like, I looked at the kid's mum, and I was like, did you hear that? And she just laughed and walked there, and I was like, bro, I was so ashamed, but like, that was my first time realizing that, oh shit, bro, I just went to work to record my voice, give it to the editor, and go home. Yeah.
Wow.
And then someone in St. Luke's came up, bro, Ngati Harrison, the guy. And I was like, holy, that's out of it.
And then realization just hit me.
Yeah, bro. And then for me, and then like, it's not, this may seem a bit cocky to say this, but I'm not the most extroverted person, bro.
Yeah.
And
they come across, like people may have that perception of you as that, when really, actually, I'm a huge introvert.
Bro, I'm all good with just sitting at home with my babies, bro.
Hard out.
Lying on the couch, watching Nickelodeon. Bro, that's what we done last night, bro, and it wasn't me.
And that for me is when you found heaven, man.
Yeah,
You
bro.
just have that space.
Yeah, bro. So, but the thing, my conundrum was, bro, losing enough of my ego to say that I don't need a camera, 2 minutes on television every night, and $75,000 to validate who I am as a Maori. Who I am as a man. I don't need those materialistic. I don't need to be on television. I'm worth more than Maori television giving me 75k than any of those things, because I've got these 2 kids that are relying on me to be the best possible version of me.
How is that something that society's kind of programmed us to be? That we need to be seen, we need to be famous, we need to have a certain amount of headers.
Social media, bro, it's shocking.
That's what makes it funny for me too when I think about social media. A lot of people, they've come up to me and like, oh, you're a bit of an influencer now, eh? And I'm like,
What?
Like, you're a social media. I was like, bro, have you seen how many? I only just started learning how to use Instagram.
Yeah.
And for me, I got upset. I got
Sure.
upset about it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, no, I'm not. I don't want to be anything. I'm being me, and all I'm doing is sharing my journey. So I felt like I had to explain to them actually I'm not. When I should have just held my space and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
When I look back at it retrospectively, I was like, actually, I don't need to explain it.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable in doing this because all I want to do is share my journey. That's the reason for the cover. But it's the ego thing.
Bro, I remember when we were doing the Taumata Korero podcast, bro, and my followers kind of blew up. My cousin shared it, I think.
Oh, true.
Yeah, bro, and after that, like, my followers blew up. Well, for me, they blew up. I think I went from about 800 to about 4,500 or something, bro. And people were like, oh, same thing, bro. Oh, you're an influencer. And I was like, bro, I can't even influence my kid to go and brush his teeth in the morning.
Maybe
Like,
that's how you come hang out at my house for 2 days, man. Let me know how I'm influencing.
I can't even influence my kids to hurry up and brush their teeth before we go to school in the morning. Like, you're calling me an influencer.
I keep telling people, especially when I drop some memes every now and then or just little quotes, I just say social media is a facade.
Straight up.
You might see one split second of a whole day that's taken place, and you think, man, shit, he's got it going on. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. Actually, all I'm doing is processing my thoughts. Hopefully, putting it down that someone who's going through something similar to me will realize you're not by yourself. You're not alone. You're not the only one thinking like this. And that's the reason why I'm doing it. But a lot of people think, oh man, he's got it all together. Of course we do. After the podcast, the episodes that I've done with my wife, everyone's like, shit, you and your wife, you guys are awesome. And I'm like, bro, have you not realised how many times we even come to kura or go to church, or even if you see us out, we're arguing? Like, everyone thinks that we've got it all together. We don't.
Yeah.
You know? So don't think that these podcasts or this little snippet of time that you've seen on social media is actually with us getting it. You know, we've got ourselves together. We don't. We're like everyone else, still trying to figure out life.
Yeah.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, yeah, don't believe everything that you see in social media. Fine.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to how you were talking about with Mahi and you realizing, or coming to that realization that it's not for you.
Yeah, and like I was saying, bro, it came ego. Long story short, bro, we kind of got out of the Maori media space, the media space. I'm still doing bits on the side,
Yep.
and you know, doing this and that. And it was midway through last year. I kind of got hit up from my university, and they kind of said, "Oh, bro, what are you up to? You want to chuck in a CV? We're looking for a new lecturer." And I thought, "Hey, lecturer? Me? You want me to lecture papers that I didn't even pass myself?" No. I actually got a growling. I said that on Instagram actually when I said, "Oh, I got the job," but crack up, whānau, I'll be lecturing papers that I didn't even pass.
Oh, no.
And someone, if you're listening, one of my followers went back to the university and told them, and I got a growling, snitch. You know what they say about snitches and whangarei?
Come on, whānau, come on.
Nah, but we had a good laugh about it, and so yeah, currently, bro, I'm lecturing te reo Maori at the University of Auckland.
Man.
School of Maori Studies. So we've just moved in, and I'm excited, bro. I'm really excited to get it on.
That leads me to another question. What are your thoughts about the te reo space now in Aotearoa? Like where it currently is and where it's perceived to be going.
Yeah.
Like you've got different wānanga now that are pumping out the different reo classes, which I think is awesome. I've just picked up myself. I'm going to Te Wā to go do some night courses just to pick up on my reo. Because it's funny, man, when I'm talking with my kids, a lot of the transliterated kupu that they come home with, I'm like,
Very hard.
what the hell is that?
Hard, bro.
You know?
The
What are your thoughts on how Māori is tracking now?
the Lieutenant Colonel of the 28th Māori Battalion, Sir James Henare, famously once quipped, "We've come too far not to go any further. We've done too much not to do any more." And I think that's totally like applicable to the scenario to where we are with Te Reo Māori in 2020, bro. Yep, cool. We've had some successes and we've had some losses. But what are we? Let's start taking a look at ourselves. How can we promote Te Reo Māori not only in our schools, not only in our universities, but here in our homes?
Ooh,
Because
that's it,
bro. And it starts with our kids, bro. And I was having an argument actually with one of my bros on not an argument, but heated discussion on Instagram when I was coming here, bro, talking about whakapapa.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's exactly that, bro. It's about providing our kids the best chance at life, and if that means equipping them with a language, te reo Māori, that fits our world, not only our world that we're in 2020, but the way in which we perceive the world that they'll be in 2050 and beyond, then we've done our jobs. If we're equipping our kids with a language from 1970, 1980, it's no longer applicable to them. They'll switch off like that, bro. So the biggest task that we have, parents, Māori parents, is to one, kōrero Māori ki a tātou tamariki, tuarua, whakatairanga hiara ko te reo, e tika ana, mo a tātou tamariki, a ngā tau kei te heke mai. Yeah. How do we equip our kids to be, to have, all of these, what are these flash words, idioms and lexical this and that and whatnot.
Because when I get to kōrero me tako nei tamaiti, and they're coming up with all these different words, and even the ahe and the mita is different, I'm like, oh what?
Yeah.
And so a lot of that is like, so I went to I guess it was the open night information day for Te Wā with these night courses that I signed up for. I was told, oh, you're reo, you should be in the Ronaki class. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, when's the next available space? And they said, oh, it's actually full. I said, oh, okay, I'll jump into the next one. And everything was full, and I said, okay, sweet, actually, you know what, it's a sign. If that's not a tohu, I'm going to go to Te Putakitanga. So I'll go below, and they're like, no, you need to study. And I'm like, no, I want to start here, because if my children are coming home with kupu and ahe and mita that I don't understand, it's probably best if I go back to a foundation and then we change it, because the kupu, everything that I learned from my korokui and my papa is different. I feel like the old ill was just beautiful, elongated, where now it's just shortened. It's still beautiful in itself, but it's different. And if I'm not, how can I, as a parent, try and tell my children just keep going in your reo if I'm not trying to tautoko them in that space, And when I went to this open day as well, I was looking there, I was like, heaps of people was going outside the door, and they were getting ready for this information day. And out of all the people that were lined up, I probably picked I'd say there was about 60 people, and maybe about 7 Maori.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck. How can we as a people in 2020 keep demanding and expecting, for us to work in co-governorship with the government, and hey, yes, we need to pick up our reo when our people are not even turning up to these classes. And for me, I was like, oh, is this just the reo classes? They said, yep, this is just the reo classes. And I'm like, oh, guess what, my people, out of the 60 people that are lined up outside the door, I only see 8.
If that doesn't hit you, bro, like, you really need to take a look at yourself. Like, if you're not, if that's not a challenge to learn your own language, because at the end of the day, bro, and this is the humility that comes with language acquisition, that we are always students of the language. No one is better above and beyond te reo Māori, the pinnacle of te reo Māori. No one. No one is. Everyone has something to learn.
It's always been, and being humble enough to admit it, and like, actually I don't know everything, and that's all good. You're not meant to. But for me, I was sad. Sad that our expectation as a people is to pump our reo, but our people are not turning up. But I see heaps of Pākehā, Middle Eastern, some Fijian Indians, they were all there, and they were all willing to learn, and there were different age groups from like maybe 18, 19, all the way up to like I saw those 50, 60 year olds. And in the Te Putakitanga class that I was looking at going into, I saw 2 Māori out of the 8 that I saw throughout the whole 60, and they were in the class with me, and they were proud of who they were, and I was like, shit, come on, whānau. And for me, it just, broke my heart, really.
Yeah, it would, bro. Yeah.
And I'm like, how do we do that? How do we do that on this podcast? Hopefully someone will hear it and actually get us to these classes and start learning, But what's next? What's next on engineering?
So bro, so we're just going to head down, bum up for this first semester. So semester 1 starts on the 3rd of March. Monday the 3rd of March is the first class. Bro. So I'm just going to pin my ears back on this first semester, bro, and try and really make a good impression with our students and our academic stuff, our whole university community, bro, and just really try and bring some good solid wānanga, bro, back to te wānanga o whakapapa. Much the same as that we're doing here, bro. So what I'm hoping to do, and hopefully some of my future students are listening in, what I'm hoping to do, bro, is kind of take it away from the whole pen and paper vibe, the academia vibe, bro, and just
that wānanga space,
especially in our School of Māori Studies, bro.
Have you met your students? How many students have you? Not yet?
Oh, I have. I've got a class list, bro. So at the moment, I've got about 100.
Ooh. How are you going to do that? Because are you going to have something similar to what we're going here, like a podcast?
Well, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So that's on the pipeline, bro. How can we package it up to make it consumer friendly online, some of the wānanga that we're kind of going to be getting into.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, bro. So we're kind of looking into putting a package together, whether that comes in the form of a podcast or a vlog series or whatever, bro. We're just making it, just making university information, kaupapa, kōrero, wānanga, accessible to everyone.
To everyone.
Because at the end of the day, the information and the mātauranga belongs to everyone. There's no reason that just because you haven't gained university entrance, you shouldn't
be restricted.
yeah, that you should be restricted to it, bro. It's yours. It's yours. It's mine. It's ours.
That's awesome. That's what needs to happen in order for our deal to grow, eh?
Yeah, bro.
Are you? So that's the goal. That's the end goal.
Yeah, bro.
For this so far.
Yeah. So so we've got that on the go at the moment. What else do we have? And a few other little media gigs that I can't kind of let out of the bag at the moment, bro. But we're kind of moving in a good direction this year.
What's happening with Te Mata Kōrero?
Yeah, well, so that's the same. So that was our podcast that we kind of put. Oh, we didn't shut it down. We just we said go for a nap.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so we're kind of thinking about how we can repackage it to bring it in, or do we bring it back in with this new taonga that we're trying to make in conjunction with the University of Auckland, or do we fully put it to sleep and start a new one, or what do we do? So those are the conversations that are going on at the moment with the University of Auckland, bro. And it all comes down to funding and content creation and kind of working with the School of Film, Television and Media Studies as well, bro.
Are you happy in the space that you're actually in now? Is this where you want to be and see yourself growing?
I'm happy, bro.
Yeah.
I'm happy, and I knew I was happy, bro. I found out I got the job officially on the 13th of Jan. On the 14th of January, I brought my kids down and we came and had a karakia at our whare Tāne Nui Arangi, which is on Wynyard Street in town.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like coming full circle, bro.
Man.
Yeah, so a lot of the names that my children carry, the ancestors are represented in that whare. Bro, I've probably slept in that whare more times than I've had hot dinners, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was a student there. I love that place, bro, and what that place has done for me. And, yeah, bro. He kāinga no tērā. So to be able to be given the opportunity, again we're talking opportunities, bro, to be able to give back. Now I can provide and share. Not saying that I've got all of the answers in the world and all of the answers to every Māori question in the world, but the few answers that I do have, to share them and allow others to process and formulate their own answers to how they see the world, bro. Yeah. Man,
that's awesome. So you're basically like a kaiara, you're kind of navigating them through.
Yeah, pretty much, bro.
That space, especially finding that way out. That's awesome.
Yeah,
is there any? I guess we'll wind it up. It's been long. Yeah.
What are we? Where are we at? Have we had an hour?
Oh yeah, we've had an hour.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, let's go. Final words for you, I guess, or for the whānau that are out there listening to. What do you want to leave the whānau with?
I think I touched on it earlier, bro, and it's about getting back to those core values that we spend so much time talking about and singing about and praising ourselves over. But really, do we understand the true essence of what it means? Kia tika, kia pono, kia aroha, kia Maori. Those four cornerstones of what it means to be the quintessential Maori being in this world that we're in. And anipea me kōrero Māori ahau ki puto tika i ua whakaro kia ngakia e tātou te hohonutanga o tēnā kōrero, o ēnā kōrero, kia mohi oi tātou ko ai tātou. To really research the core, the true essence of what it means, so we understand our true identity of who we are. If we can understand the essence of truth, if we can understand the essence of honesty and giving without want of anything coming back to us, if we can understand the essence of love, that's a huge one. Only then, once we've understood those three things, we can truly understand the essence of what it means to be Māori.
Wow. On that note, man, it was awesome. Thank you so much for being able to share the space with me, with us here in the whānau. Thank you.
Sure, brother. Thank you for having me.
Peace. I'm always doing it. I've got to find a better ending, but